Remember the golden age of kids anime where every new show wasn't just about entertainment, it was a thinly veiled commercial. You didn't just watch Beyblade, you begged your parents for 20 bucks to buy a glorified top. Yu-Gi-Oh wasn't about friendship, it was about Konami selling shiny cards. And then there's Danbol Senki, or as it's known in English, Little Battler's Experience. A show that dared to ask, what if Gundam, but fun size, and also capable of accidentally starting World War III? Because here's the thing, on the surface it's, another toy anime, but underneath it's a surprisingly dark, emotional trilogy of Danbol Senki, W, and Wars that blends childhood wish fulfillment with military conspiracies, terrorism, and the morality of war. It's messy, it's dramatic, it's hilarious, and it's way better than it had any right to be. So today, let's talk about the trilogy that turns tiny robots into terrorism. We start with Danbol Senki, the original series, the first of the three. Our protagonist is Yamano Ban. He's your, classic shonen hero template. One day after school, a mysterious woman literally just yeets a briefcase with LBX into his hands and tells him to protect it with his life. Normal stranger danger stuff. This LBX is Achilles, the poster boy model and Ban's ride or die for the first half of the series. Technically, Ban's first LBX is this thing called AX-00, but he put the Achilles armor early on the series. I think it's episode 2 or 3, so it doesn't matter. Achilles first. On paper, LBX are these toys and they fight in special arenas. Sounds harmless until you realize these things are packing enough firepower to commit war crimes. The villains, a group called Innovators, want to use this LBX technology to unleash a doomsday weapon. And of course, Ban's dad, the inventor of LBX, who he thought was dead, is actually tangled up in all of this. The first arc doesn't ease you into the anime, they just go full blown. Like they immediately throw you into the chaos. Like, I kid you not, in one of the early episodes, I think it's like less than 10 episodes, the gang tried to stop Innovator from assassinating the Prime Minister. They literally just reenacted the JFK. Like the Prime Minister is driving down the street with a convertible and there is a sniper LBX that they have to stop. Banger. Another funny episode that I remember is where Jin Kaido, Ban's rival, transfer into Ban's middle school, I think, if I'm not wrong. But he comes in, not through the door, but through the window. And he didn't climb it. He comes in jumping from a fighter jet. Absolutely hilarious. From there, the show escalated like crazy. Ban and his friends basically became freedom fighters. Like, one of the things the Innovator does is they launch a missile headed to a city, but the missile is loaded with a lot of LBX, but their core, the machine that moves the LBX, is strapped with a miniature megaton bomb. Like, how do people think of this? If the first series is boy meets robot, boy save Japan, then Danbol Senki W is where things go full blown weird. Ban is back, yay! But this time, he is joined by Ran Hanasaki and Hiro Ozora. The three of them team up against a new organization, called Detector, which, let's be honest, sounds less like a terrorist group and more like a brand of budget alarms. But don't be fooled, Detector is deadly. The scope of W expands far beyond Japan. Suddenly the conflict is international. Ban and his band of friends travel the globe, somehow without a visa, getting pulled into all sorts of bullshit that make you question whether, child labor law exists in this universe. Like seriously, W doesn't even pretend this is about toys anymore. It's about child soldier piloting weapon grade miniature robots in the name of, I don't know, world peace maybe. Like, I kid you not, if you got beaten by the detectors, you'll get turned into a brainwashed slave soldier by them. Also, the second part of the show shift the focus from the detectors to a different villain group. Well, less of a group and more of two AI named Adam and Eve and their son, somehow Mizel, which is either the dumbest premise ever or the best thing that anime has ever given us. The LBX themselves got flashier too, more design, more gimmick, more explosion that would bankrupt Michael Bay. Like, I kid you not, one of the LBX gimmick was that it is a twin. So a set of two LBX that can turn into a weapon for one another. And then we reach Dan Bolsengi War. Ah yes, War. Instead of continuing Ban's story, Wars introduced us to a brand new protagonist, Sena Arata. He's not saving the world, he's just a kid obsessed with LBX, kinda like Ban in the first series. But, where does he go to play with them? Is it a tournament? Is it a local LBX shop? No, he goes to a military academy, where LBX aren't just toy, they're literally training tools for war. This is where things get spicy. Wars transform LBX into simulated wars between nations, complete with armies, strategies, and ideological conflict. It's not just about who has the strongest robot anymore, it's about what you're fighting for. At first glance, Wars feels like a step backward. Gone are Ban, Jin, and the global conspiracies. Instead, we're watching kids reenact military campaign in a school setting. But if you dig deeper, Wars is tackling some heavy theme. It's about indoctrination, about what happened when you take something pure, childhood imagination, playing with toys, and twist it into a proxy for real war. Like one of the characters said it themselves, that their country of origin lost the war because of this stupid proxy war. And just when you thought the proxy war was weird enough, on the latter part, you get an international terrorist group posing as a military force for multiple different nations that finally regrouped and became a recognized nation. You have human sacrifice. You have a crazy double betrayal where when a kid's LBX got defeated, the pilot just died, like IRL die. And it proves that yes, even a toy anime can hit you with political commentary. Also, this show was released in 2013. God damn, what are they thinking? No, it's not just all dark and gloomy. There's a lot of cool mecha and cool mecha fight. Like, not only this is a school for LBX player, it is also a school for LBX engineer. So there's a lot of crazy nonsense modification that you can expect from a teenager. Like, Sena Arata's LBX has a weapon that can change form into multiple different weapons. And his squad captain's LBX has a hammer that can be put on his chest and turn into a cannon. absolute banger of a show. So, what do we make of this nonsense trilogy? On paper, it's just another franchise designed to sell toys. In practice, however, it's a full-blown saga that wrestles with themes of family, wars, and growing up, all while making you want to spend your allowance money on plastic robot. Is it perfect? No. Sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's hilariously over the top, but that's what makes it beautiful, because beneath all that explosion and belief in yourself speeches, Double Senki isn't just about LBX. It's about what we fight for. And also who has the coolest customizable murder bot. Thanks for sticking through this, I don't know, what is this, a deep dive? A rant? An introduction should be nice. Yeah, an introduction. Thank you. If you grew up with Dunball Senki, like me, and like just another 100 people, I think, let me know which LBX you is your favorite. Comment down below. And if you're new, give it a shot. Because trust me, this ain't just toy robots. Also like this video and subscribe, because next week we're gonna talk about another anime. Is this channel going to turn into a anime channel? Maybe yes, maybe not. Subscribe to know. I don't know. I've said everything. Comment down below, like this video, subscribe. Yeah, that's it. Bye bye.